Welcome back, everyone, to the High Tempo Sports Podcast, the greatest podcast in the history of the world. Episode 131. We are back today. It has been a minute since we've been on. It's been like, what, a week and a half probably?
Oh, maybe two.
Yeah.
I mean, it's about a minute.
It's been a minute since we've been on. So we're recording this on Monday. We've been having some technical issues. Storage issues, I guess.
And
so,
like
so it might
issues.
it might be a few days until this goes up. But just for reference, we are recording this on a Monday, if that matters.
Monday, February what? 21st?
Yeah, 21st, day before 2/2/2/2/2.
Yeah.
A lot of twos.
A lot of twos.
But we're back today. A lot of stuff has happened since our last episode, but I guess we're not really going to talk about the stuff that happened like a week ago. Obviously, Matt Stafford and the Rams won the Super Bowl. I don't think we talked about, I don't think we've had an episode, but
it was awesome.
Everyone's heard about that, yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Shout out to Stafford for winning the Super Bowl. Cooper Kupp, Super Bowl MVP. But today we are talking about, we've got a few lists. I know all of you guys love the lists. Our TikTok viewers love them. We're going to be doing our top 7 NBA young cores, and we're starting the NFL offseason list with top 10 running backs today. I'm super hyped to do all the NFL lists because I think I was going to do wide receivers, think we maybe do that, but I think that one is going to be way longer.
Yeah, and I think we need to have Willie on for that one.
Probably,
Willie would be really good for that.
Yeah, he definitely would.
He needs to be on for one of our top 10 blank lists.
Yeah.
Our top 10, whatever. QBs, teams.
QBs is going to be hard too,
Dude,
bro.
QBs,
we might have to rank 1 through 32 all QBs.
Except there are 5 open QB jobs in the NFL.
Yeah, true.
Maybe 1 through 20, 1 through 15.
Maybe top 20 QBs, yeah. But we got some news to talk about before then. Starting off with the greatest player in the NBA right now, Cade Cunningham wins Rising Star MVP Friday night during the All-Star weekend. Yeah, Cade, it was a weird format this year, but I loved it, how they did the 2 semifinal games, and then they did the final game. And Cade Cunningham balled out and won MVP of the Rising Stars game. You don't see a lot of Rookie of the Years winning that, so he might be one of the first to do it.
Or it doesn't happen. He just doesn't win Rookie of the Year.
That too, yeah.
I hate to play devil's advocate for our favorite player.
I get what you're saying.
It was awesome. And he was clearly, him and Sadiq were the best players on the floor in the championship game.
Sadiq would have won MVP if his team would have won. So.
Beef Stew had a clutch block.
Yeah. He had a double-double too.
Pistons were all over him.
And he caught a lob, a transition, he was running and caught a lob. That doesn't happen with Beef Stew. He'll catch a lob when he's standing and jump straight
in
up.
the dunker spot.
Yeah, but it was from Tyrese Halliburton too. That would have been sick if we could have had him.
That would have been awesome. Maybe.
But yeah, the Rising Stars Challenge was super cool. The celebrity game, I watched a little bit of it. Machine Gun Kelly is horrible at basketball, bro.
I didn't even watch any of the Celebrity All-Star game, and then to see who won the MVP, it was
I watched the first half.
Who even is that?
Just because I had nothing else to do, but it was not I would have been okay not watching it.
There wasn't many big names in it.
Yeah.
Kevin Hart wasn't in it. Drake wasn't in it. Justin Bieber.
I was hyped to see Quavo in it because he's a hooper, but he wasn't really doing nothing. He really was not getting his at all. I figured he would drop 40, but no.
And what's up with Kane Brown? I mean, come on. Kane
Brown is low-key kind of cold, dude. Oh, and Myles Garrett obviously was just I don't think they can have a guy like him in that game.
No, you need to have true celebrities. And they should have some meme celebrities. They should have a person from Euphoria come on. They should have a person from The Office. We need Steve Carell in this game. Those are the type of celebrities we want to see in this game. Not a fitness.
It would be cool if we had just an NFL game though.
Oh yeah, it would be cool. They did in the 80s.
Yeah.
Remember in the dunk contest? They did that celebrity dunk contest.
Because Myles Garrett, bro, he can throw down. He threw down that windmill dunk. Yeah, Zeke. He's a dunker.
T. Higgins could be in it.
A lot of guys. I bet. Yeah, I was gonna say Tyreek Hill, but he's really small.
Yeah,
he can probably dunk, right?
Yeah, Joe Burrow would be in the game. He was a 4-year starter on varsity.
There's a bunch of guys in the league that could be in the dunk contest. We got to see that. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, that was a super cool event on Friday night. Moving on to Saturday night, we had the Skills Challenge that Cade Cunningham also competed in with the fellow rookies, Josh Giddey and Scotty Barnes. They took runner-up. They did pretty well. Cade hit the half-court shot. with like 10 seconds in. I was like, they're for sure going to win. And then Evan Mobley just makes it on the second shot. As the Cavs took the skills challenge, the Antetokounmpos did not do very well.
It just makes sense for and it sucks because like the narrative around Giannis has always been that he isn't skilled.
Yeah, he runs and dunks.
And like, why would you do the skills challenge, dude? Like, what was your thought process?
It was just cool that he doing it with his brothers. Like, that's cool. Super cool.
I would have much rather seen the Plumlee brothers in it or something. They probably would have done better as well.
Yeah, honestly.
But
Mason Plumlee's more skilled than Giannis. So, but
and what is Miles Plumlee going to do? Is that his name?
Yeah, Miles and Marshall.
Yeah, Marshall.
Yeah, those are the three. But the Cavs win the skills challenge. The 3-point contest was pretty entertaining.
The 3-point contest was hype.
Yeah, it definitely
watching
was.
Cat go off was crazy.
Luke Kennard was going off too,
and he was just awesome to watch. Luke Kennard all of a sudden just has turned into like this fan favorite shooter because he's hilarious. He's such a meme. The 3-point contest was awesome. And who did awful? There was the player that didn't do. Actually, I think they picked it up.
There was a few players. Well, I think it was Van Vliet. He started hitting off the side of the backboard. Somebody hit the side of the backboard like their first shot. But everyone kind of did like at least decent.
Yeah, nobody got like a 10.
Yeah,
like,
no
I think
one
the
did
lowest
like
was like a 15 or 16.
it was high teens, so not that bad. And then the dunk contest, the travesty of the night, just unfortunate. Obi Toppin, shout out to him. He is officially a slam dunk champion. But there was no other. I mean, he had some good dunks, like for sure. He had some good dunks. No one else really had many like, whoa.
Jalen Green didn't have a dunk. I mean, he hardly He didn't deserve his first dunk. Like, he had 9 attempts. And I don't understand at what point the judges are just like, yeah, just keep going. No. He's clearly had multiple attempts.
Yeah.
And I don't think Cade would have missed that many dunks in a row. Yeah. Just saying. I
respect Jalen Green for going for like a hard dunk because that would, if he would have put down that dunk, especially like first or second try, it might have been a 50. Like that dunk was really difficult. And I respect him going for the difficult dunks first, but in a contest that was already pretty bad, maybe just throw down like an 8, just to move on in the round. Like you have he was easily the most athletic person out of those group of dunkers. So he could have won that pretty easily, I feel like, but it's whatever. What do you think about the dunk contest? Because there's a lot of talks about it needs to be changed. Since Zach LaVine, Aaron Gordon, it hasn't been the same because they did everything humanly possible that we've seen, and now pretty much every dunk we see, it's like, oh, that was cool, but I saw that already.
Yeah, exactly. Zach LaVine did that 4 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. So what do you think? Because this year and last year, no 50s in the dunk contest for the last 2 years. And last year, Anthony Simons won it, but it wasn't like a crazy good contest. This year, obviously wasn't.
I mean, this year was so bad, the announcers just consistently
they were
dogging.
Reggie Miller was going in.
He was like, damn, I would have rather watched the skills challenge than this shit.
Dude, low-key, the skills challenge was way more entertaining. The skills challenge was dope. I love how they did that.
It was cool. And they did a good job with all of All-Star Weekend and it's not like the NBA didn't do anything wrong. They picked the right guys who wanted to do it. Jalen Green is one of the most electric dunkers in the league. He just didn't seem like he even cared.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that he didn't practice that dunk enough to get it one every 10 times.
I wonder how much he practiced with Josh Christopher too for that lob.
Like, I bet you Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon for half of their dunks sat in the gym for an hour trying to get them. And then some of them they just created on the spot.
The ones that they went to OT for, they didn't have that shit planned.
Like the one where he jumped over spinning.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure wasn't that an OT?
I don't remember.
I think that was in OT.
There was like 4 or 5 OT dunks for each of them. So.
What is his name? What is the Magic's guy name?
I don't know.
But he was like spinning.
The big green dude.
He jumped it and did like the 360. Yeah. That shit was in OT and it was nuts.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And they didn't use any good use of props. All the props sucked. The Tims were awful.
Shout out the creativity,
It was there.
Never been done before.
Just walk out in the Tims.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and he sits there and laces them up for 10 minutes.
And the first dunker is like, yeah, I'm going to take my time and tie a pair of shoes on instead of walk out in them. To fix the dunk contest, you turn it into a layup contest. Layups have become far more entertaining than any creative dunk you can do.
I really don't know what they can do to fix, because they fixed the skills challenge. They've made it more entertaining. I think the 3-point contest is pretty entertaining. I mean, they don't need to fix that. It always is going to be. They made the All-Star game itself way more entertaining than it used to be. But the dunk contest it's not really their fault. Like I don't know what the NBA themselves can do to change the format of the dunk contest.
It's about the players, and that's all. Yeah. And like it's almost like Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon have scared everybody off from ever doing it. Yeah. Like every player is scared because they now know we're not going to touch.
It's not going to be as good, yeah.
Like we're just not going to do that.
Ja Morant said he won't do a dunk contest. Anthony Edwards said he won't do a dunk contest. I mean, these are two of the most electric in-game dunkers in the NBA. I mean, I know they say, oh, I'm an in-game dunker. Guess what? So is every dude in the league.
Yeah, and so is every dude in that dunk contest.
Yeah. You're telling me Ja Morant and Anthony Edwards have never done a dunk that isn't in a game?
Yeah, exactly.
Like a fancy dunk? Come on,
you're telling me I've never seen Aaron Gordon jump over the Magics in a game. I've never seen that. I've never seen him do that.
And he is a very athletic player.
And he does awesome in games. He's a great dunker. And I honestly think it goes back in history to I'm going to say LeBron for not doing the dunk contest. Because obviously he should have been in it. He's a guy who...
And he was the first big athletic young star that didn't do it.
Who was I don't want to do it.
Because it was cool to do it. Yeah,
Dwight Howard was doing them. Kobe won one. MJ. Yeah. And these are all and then LeBron's I don't really want to do it. And it's but why? Even if you lose... No, you were just trying to you were entertaining everybody. Yeah. At least you tried. And that's my props to the last dunk contest. I don't want to hang it over these players' heads for so long. Yeah. Because then nobody will ever want to do it again.
Exactly. And it kind of is already like that.
People. Yeah. Every time they don't do well. We got to just be hey, you tried. You tried to entertain us.
Like I'm saying, Obi Toppin, he had some nice dunks. He definitely had some dunks that were damn, that was nice. No one else really did, but I'm not, like you said, at least they did it, the dunk on, like you said, it's
Jalen Green is a big name who tried.
Yeah.
And tried to do crazy dunks.
It's becoming a bad thing to do the dunk contest. And I really don't, afraid. I don't know how the league is going to do it. I mean, I guess the only thing they could do is pay an absolute bag to the guys they want. And if we get a dunk contest of Zion, Ja,
LeBron,
Ant, and LeBron or Miles Bridges, but they at that point, even Ja Morant said, "I'll do it for $1 million on some in the offseason." He said that, and it's just dude, the NBA is not just going to give you $1 million to be in their dunk contest.
Yeah, who do you think you are?
Yeah. I mean, I get it,
they struggled to give anybody $1 million, let alone for one dunk contest.
And even if he doesn't win it, it's just they have to do that for everyone now if they do that with you. So
yeah, exactly, and it's you're also that's probably more than they make all weekend off of All-Star. $4 million, the $4 million total from paying all those dudes.
Right? Yeah,
and then you got to pay to charities. That shit gets pricey after a while. NBA don't like spending money.
But we'll see what happens with the dunk contest. Like we said, I like the dunk contest. I watch it every year, but it just has kind of sucked the last couple of years, and it's not really the fault of the league or the players. It just happens. But let's talk about the actual All-Star game on Sunday. Donovan Mitchell was ruled out of this game early before due to a non-COVID illness. But this was a pretty fun game. Pretty much the entire game, Joel Embiid was going off for Team Durant. It was a tight game. Giannis obviously was doing his thing, but Steph Curry just absolutely unleashed in the second quarter and in the third quarter. He hit... how many threes did he hit
18.
But in a quarter, he hit 9 threes or something in one quarter. But yeah, he hit an incredible amount of shots. Tried to break the record for most points. He got to 51, I think, and then just couldn't hit a shot after that, which kind of sucks. But he does end up getting All-Star Game MVP after just hitting some crazy shots.
And it was the way he did it. It wasn't possession here, now I'm going to go hit one there, now I'm going to hit. It was bang, bang, bang,
I'm going to make 5 in a row right now.
And all of them are going to be from the logo.
Yeah. And then I'll let some other guys shoot for 3 possessions, and then I'm going to hit 3 more in a row.
Yeah, good luck. It was unreal. And then the way, again, how poetic is it that Bron hits the game winner in Cleveland?
Yeah. Tough shot that he hit, too, to win
over
it.
2?
Yeah, I didn't know if he...
They were a double.
Yeah. They were playing hard at the end of the game, which was... That's another thing that the league has done a great job of. They've made the All-Star game competitive again. Even at the end of each quarter, most of the between the first 3 quarters, the whole entire time, they weren't really playing much defense, obviously. But even in the last minute, they are trying to win those quarters because it goes to their charities or whatever. So super entertaining game, especially towards the end. Steph obviously was going off. Ja Morant was flying around like crazy. I mean, he got above the rim so many times. That 360 lob he caught was crazy. Trae Young loved having him as a lob threat in that game.
So they brought up this point at the apartment, and we were sitting there, and they said, the NBA fixed it. They did the All-Star game right. Yeah, it's impossible to make a competitive full four-quarter game, but they've made it entertaining to watch at the end of the game, at least. Like, they're playing hard. What do you do in the Pro Bowl? How do you fix the Pro Bowl? I don't think it's possible.
I really don't know either.
I do not believe it's possible.
And it doesn't help that the Pro Bowl is at the very end of the year where guys have just played a full NFL season. And yeah, you think they want to come out and play another game that doesn't mean shit and play it for real. So that kind of sucks because every other All-Star format is during the middle or, some halfway point of the season, whereas the NFL isn't. But I don't know. I think the Pro Bowl has to just I don't think it's ever really going to be a crazy high competitive game anymore.
I think part of the issue with the Pro Bowl is you can't go out and play pickup football. Yeah. And you can't go play casual football. Those two, casual and football doesn't go together. You can go play casual hoops. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to jog around, come off a screen, pull up.
You're not going
to guard me very hard. But you can't go do that and play football and make it entertaining. So I think that's where the issue lies, and I hope the NFL just does away with the Pro Bowl forever. It can just end, and you just nominate people. Here are your here are the guys who would be in the Pro Bowl. We're not going to do it because they don't want to be.
Or you make a Madden Pro Bowl. Each guy's locked in on their position. Imagine being a lineman though, just so boring.
Linemen aren't included. Yeah, that would just be way too annoying. And the lineman would get pissed because Myles Garrett's X Factor is just blowing them up every play.
Yeah, true.
Tooney.
You got nothing you can do about it. The Pro Bowl is weird because I don't think it's ever going to go back to it. Because, at a time, it was pretty competitive. But even back then, though, 20 years ago, it wasn't like a regular NFL game. It could
be a big hit every once in a while. Some dudes would take it kind of serious.
Yeah, exactly. But, the Pro Bowl is maybe you make it like a flag football. But even at that point, you're never going to, you're always going to have the people that are, well, this ain't real football. What's the point of it? They're not hitting each other hard. Why does it matter?
So, I want to see concussions.
I want to see dudes get so hard, so.
Meatheads.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolute meatheads.
Yeah, the Pro Bowl, though, I don't know. That's one that I really don't know what they can do. But back to the All-Star game. Really weird event happened. Chris Paul, right before the game, gets reported, not by Woj or Shams, gets reported on live TV. He's going to miss 6 to 8 weeks because he has to have surgery on his broken thumb. But he plays in the game still. They said, he's still going to play, but he's going to be out for 2 months. So
he played 4 minutes? 2 minutes?
He came in right at the beginning.
Just to get an assist.
Yeah, he didn't play much. Yeah, he didn't come back in after that.
So do you know what the assist was?
I don't remember.
Record for most assists in an All-Star
actually?
history.
Oh, that's cool. But that's the only reason why he played that.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's you didn't even really play. They let you get an assist to get you to 128.
Yeah, but it's the All-Star game. They let dudes get dunks every play.
I guess.
But he's going to be out 6 to 8 weeks, which is a tough hit for Phoenix, obviously, because they are the number one team in the NBA right now, and without their arguable best player in Chris Paul. So we'll see if Cam Payne and Elfrid Payton can hold it down till Chris Paul gets back.
If you think they can't, you're crazy. Cam Payne might be the best backup in the league. He's the Alexander Madison of the NBA. He's the GOAT.
Little different, though. Cam Payne plays when Chris Paul also does.
Yeah, exactly.
Last NBA news, Goran Dragic finishes a buyout. I was trying to think of the word. Completed a buyout with the San Antonio Spurs today and then signed with the Brooklyn Nets of all teams, the kings of the buyout market.
Great.
The Lakers said, we're going to focus on the buyout market, not make any trades. Did you remember that the Brooklyn Nets were a team in the NBA? They got hella dudes at the buyout market last year. They add Goran Dragic, who they don't really need.
What are they saying to these guys?
Exactly. He could have a bigger role on another team for sure. But no, Goran Dragic is looking at that. Kyrie Irving only playing 8 out of the last 25 games or whatever, and he's thinking, that's a lot of minutes for me. So Goran Dragic, he's going to be a great piece for them, obviously, but they already have Patty Mills, who I mean, he pretty much is a shooting guard. He really isn't.
Yeah.
He doesn't run the offense. He's a shooter. So it'll be nice for them to add Goran Dragic because he still is really good. I mean, when we saw him in the finals in the bubble 2 years ago, he was the Heat's third best player probably. So it's going to be fun to see him actually playing significant minutes again.
Is there any word on Ben Simmons coming back? I haven't heard anything about it.
They pretty much said like he'll be reevaluated after the All-Star break. Same with like James Harden, but I think Harden will be back right when they play again. I think games start back up on Thursday. So
hell yeah.
We'll see what happens with that. Let's talk about the big news that happened yesterday in Michigan basketball. Just announced about an hour ago, Juwan Howard will receive a 5-game suspension for striking Wisconsin assistant coach. I forget his name.
John Kloppenhoff. Kloppenhoff.
Something like that. He got smacked in the face by Juwan Howard, and Juwan Howard will miss the remainder of the regular season for Michigan as they only have 5 games left. But he will be eligible to coach again in the Big Ten tournament and possibly in the regular tournament / the NIT. So let's talk about it. Obviously, you're a Michigan fan. I'm not. But I think we probably have a similar take on this.
After a day and a half, especially. Yeah. Maybe not initially. Initially, I probably overreacted, like when I called you. But like when I first saw this, I was pretty disappointed. Like it was just like, Juwan, come on, dude. Like, what are you doing?
And you're already disappointed after losing too.
You're getting blown out.
Yeah,
destroyed. Because
it was close for a while. Like it was like tied at halftime.
Damn near the exact same Wisconsin team we killed last year. But like Johnny Davis is just way better now. I was so disappointed in Juwan after the end of this game. That was my initial thought, and I was just like, shit, he's gone for the rest of the year. Like, this is big time. Musa's going to get, and I said like 5 games initially. Musa's not going to get that.
Which I wonder if they're going to come out with him and Terrence Williams. I would assume they get at least a game.
I think the university is going to be expected to hold them accountable.
Well, the university is the one that suspended Juwan, though. So
that wasn't the NCAA yet?
But I think it was like a Big Ten / because it said the school has suspended Juwan Howard, but then the Big Ten commissioner made a statement about the suspensions.
Yeah, being like, this is also
like we're not ourselves.
We're not going to add it to that. Which I think is, I wouldn't have minded, honestly, if he would have gotten suspended for the rest of the season for this year. I don't think that would have been too big of a punishment.
Yeah, I don't think it would have been unreasonable.
The people calling for Juwan Howard to get fired, go screw yourself. Like, there's just no way in hell he deserves to be fired. He was walking by, and yet he said he was the first one to make a comment to Greg Gard, and he says, I'll remember that shit is what he says to him. And Greg Gard, well, you're pressing, blah, 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 grabs Juwan, gets right in his face. And Juwan grabs him. Then they quit grabbing each other, start pointing at each other. They're mad, and then it kind of starts to de-escalate.
And the assistant low-key got involved, like, when I'm not saying he shouldn't have gotten involved, because as an assistant, your job is to calm down the head coach.
But he didn't do that.
He didn't calm them. He made the situation worse than it had to be. A lot of assistant coaches try to do that. They try to become the star of a brawl that they're not even involved in at the moment.
Like, Greg Gard and Juwan Howard were already pulled away from each other, separated, and then the assistant got involved. Like, it was like it happened all at the same time. Gard got pulled out. Kloppenhoff got put in.
And obviously, I'd assume that Juwan was still talking, obviously.
He was.
But there wasn't any physical anything going on yet.
It was like between opposing teams.
And there was players in there, like, it was mainly more of
like everybody
step backs, like, we're good, like, I got my hands on you, but not in I'm gonna punch you way, like, just stay back.
Yeah. And then Kloppenhoff comes in, puts his hands on Musa, puts his hands on Terrence Williams.
He's yanking him.
He's like he's not like moving him.
He's
like
grabbing him like this. Yeah, for sure.
Being an idiot.
Aggressive.
And then says something to Juwan, and that sends Juwan over the edge. Saying, if my players are getting touched as a coach by another coach, I'm pissed. Like, I will retaliate.
Yeah.
You don't touch my players. B, then if you say something to me and you're an assistant, it's like, get away. Like, who do you think you are? Obviously, Juwan should never hit anybody. That is inexcusable. You should never hit somebody. But, like, Juwan's also standing up for his guys who are getting touched in a way they shouldn't be by this coach. Physically, like, not harmed, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
aggressively.
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Aggressively. And then Musa is just starts throwing haymakers.
So did Terrence Williams landed a couple too. Yeah, both of those guys.
And T. Will got like tackled by a Wisconsin assistant like before he started throwing haymakers, like absolutely tackled. And the situation got escalated so quickly, so fast to a point where it never should have gotten. And it's because of the assistant. I've seen the video a million times. The assistant escalated the situation. Yes, Juwan hit him. That was
Juwan started it.
Yes.
And he made it, I guess,
super physical.
He started it by obviously getting in the argument with Greg Gard, and then he turned it into a physical altercation with the slap. But it wouldn't have gotten to that point if it wasn't for the assistant.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I think the suspension is fair. I think what they're doing is fair. I think that assistant needs to get attention from the school. It won't be national news like Juwan is. He isn't Juwan Howard. Juwan Howard's a much bigger name than this guy. Same with whatever suspension Greg Gard gets, if he gets one.
He won't.
He probably won't. Yeah. I mean, he didn't really do anything.
He didn't do anything
other
really.
than grab Juwan.
Yeah, but that's even like
that. He didn't even.
If he gets suspended for that, that's bullshit.
It's that's just too much. But that assistant needs to be suspended. I wouldn't be surprised if Musa gets suspended, even though he was just following coach's lead. But still, you can't do that.
But you don't follow coach's lead when he throws a fight.
Idiot.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, no doubt what Juwan did was stupid. I will not, as a biased Michigan fan, that was stupid of Juwan. But as a Michigan fan, it's also like you got to stand up for yourself at some point. But Juwan's had these issues in the past. We saw it with Mark Turgeon last season in the Big Ten tournament.
He got into it with Rutgers earlier this season as well. Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up. That's it. I pretty much had the same exact view as you. You know, like I think Juwan should not have done what he did as a coach. I think it's the number one rule is you set an example for your players, and that example shouldn't be hitting the other coach. But obviously, like you said, after watching the video over again, it definitely shows that he wasn't going to hit nobody until that happened, until his players were being grabbed by another coach. Now, should his players have been in there, you know, in the scuffle? Probably not, because it was mainly all coaches. It was a mainly coaches thing until those two got in there, and then Wisconsin players got involved afterwards, obviously. But, yeah, I agree with you. I definitely think that I don't, like, I'm not saying I respect Juwan, I guess, but, like, I kind of get why he did it, you know, like
you see what he's doing.
Exactly. Like he owned it in the post game conference. He said as soon as my players get touched, I'm not having it. So like at least he owned it. He didn't like just make some shit up. But but this is, like you said, this is Juwan's third instance now of getting into sideline scuffles as a head coach in his second season as a head coach, which is. And he doesn't have the greatest reputation as a player either. So
the passion and fire is undoubtedly there.
Yeah.
It's just he's got to point it in another direction. You got to start showing your passion and fire elsewhere.
Right.
I really wish Juwan wasn't building this reputation because he's a good dude. Juwan isn't trying to cause harm.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
He is such a good dude.
He's not trying to fight everyone.
And I'm glad. And what I'm seeing a lot is it's not like a Big Ten versus Juwan thing. It's literally just people who see what Juwan's doing and people who don't. There's no Michigan State people who are like, oh, he needs to be fired, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. No, you've seen Tom Izzo do some crazy shit in the past, and you're like...
Not quite to that extent, but...
Tom Izzo has definitely hit one of his players before.
He'll get mad at his players, but not the other team usually.
Like, they're in that same, like, we've seen a coach show his passion and pride. Obviously, Juwan, what he did was different.
They just do it different ways.
Level. He didn't do it anything like Izzo would do. He didn't keep it in the house.
Yeah.
He went to somebody else's house and ruined it. But... I do like how it's not a everybody versus Juwan thing, and Juwan is getting respect from some people, and a lot of basketball players are saying, Juwan wasn't super in the wrong. He was in the wrong, but he wasn't the only guy in the wrong.
I think pretty much every single person can agree that what Juwan did was wrong.
Yeah.
I think that if you don't think that, you are a biased Michigan fan.
And an idiot.
And even my biased Michigan fan friends all say that Juwan shouldn't have done what he did. So it's like, okay. So everyone can agree on that part, but as far as like, does he, deserve to be fired? No. Should Michigan maybe have a sit down talk with them and say, yo, like,
reel it back.
This is some bad headlines for us lately out of you. Like, can we chill out on that? Yeah, I think that would be reasonable. I just thought it was funny because after the state game on Saturday, a lot of Michigan fans on Twitter were just tweeting shit about Izzo bitching at the refs like crazy, and then that shit happened with Juwan, and it's like I'll take bitching at the refs over that.
I was gonna say, I wish Juwan would bitch at the refs,
and he does. Yeah. Like he got teed up in that game too,
and he does have an issue with just late game technicals in general.
Yeah. Like, and that's the thing. He will get like Izzo like bitches at the refs, and I guess he does get mad, but like Juwan gets like mad at the refs.
Yeah, like starts cursing them out.
And like goes out on like I guess Izzo does the same thing, but
yeah.
Juwan I guess maybe just because Juwan's a bigger guy, it comes off as more mad.
7 foot. Yeah. Like he's humongous.
Like he gets so mad at the referees. But
he's definitely got a temper on him. But I mean, and he was definitely pissed off at Michigan. I mean, for not hitting a single open shot for the entire game. Mm-hmm. We looked just like State did, but at least State turned it around at the end of the game. Like, Michigan didn't make an open shot all game. Eli Brooks looked bad.
And they would, but like every time they would, Wisconsin would come down, score, turnover, score again.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, well,
Johnny Davis gets 3 and 1s.
Yeah, exactly.
What do we even do?
And I think the buildup of Michigan has underperformed this year, especially coming off of the year they had last year. Number 1 class coming in. That probably adds to this. I assume he's pretty frustrated in general. But still no excuse for this. We'll see how Michigan, their last 5 games of the year, they got to play Rutgers at home, Illinois at home, MSU at home, Iowa at home. So at least they got a nice home stretch there. Yeah. And then at Ohio State to finish the year. So all of those games will be without Juwan Howard. I would expect at least one of those games to be without Moussa Diabate and Terrence Williams. So.
Yeah, and I want to talk about what that could mean for Michigan. You could see a lot of players play some pretty inspired basketball after watching their coach fight for them.
Yeah.
Literally, like coaches will say, I'll fight for you. Juwan went out and did it.
He literally did.
Literally started swinging for you guys.
Yeah, that should boost
If
Michigan.
That doesn't make you want to play for somebody, if my coach hits somebody, I'm so pumped up for the next game.
If Michigan comes out and just shits the bed against Rutgers, what a bad
not
look. Just like plays bad, but just like looks like they don't give a fuck. Like,
yeah.
That would be bad.
That would be so bad. I really hope that doesn't happen because it would be like the downfall of Juwan. Like that would be. I really do believe that would be a start. Like if they start looking
Stephen
like they don't
Smith
care.
Said they should. He didn't say he should be fired. He said that Michigan should move on from Juwan Howard.
Yeah. And who else said? Somebody else. Oh.
Jay Williams said that he should just be suspended for the rest of the season.
And I think Dick Vitale said he should be fired. Like Dick Vitale said that the day it happened, and then the next day he was like, "I was wrong." Watching, and everybody did.
I think everyone in the moment was like, "Bro," especially because they just lost by 20.
Yeah.
And it was just like, "Dude, you look like an idiot right now."
Yeah.
Like that's what I was thinking. I just think you just look stupid.
And
like
I hate to say it, but Juwan was in the wrong with pressing. Why are you pressing?
Exactly.
With Devontae?
He's mad about the timeout. Like, bro, any coach that has their walk-ons in the game
and
they're getting pressed by Division I Michigan starting players, like.
They're gonna not want to embarrass.
They're probably gonna want to, not have turnovers and stuff added to their. So I don't know that part. I understand, kind of like 10 seconds left, calling a timeout, just let the game end. But also the game's over, bro. Quit pressing. You're not gonna come back. Like.
And maybe his idea was like the whole I won't quit on you guys. I'm not gonna quit coaching.
Well, that's kind of the same attitude with Wisconsin. Then if he's not gonna quit, I'm gonna keep my guys.
Yeah, I'm not gonna quit either. I'm gonna keep. If you're gonna keep coaching, I'm gonna keep coaching.
Yeah,
that's the way it works, Juwan. It's just at every level. If one team is still coaching, the other coach is still gonna be coaching. You forced Greg Gard to coach.
Yeah,
you did that, dude. You made him call that timeout.
Yeah.
I don't get that. And that does piss me off, too, especially from a coaching standpoint.
Yeah.
You made him call that timeout. If you don't press, he doesn't call it.
Oh, yeah. We'll see if Juwan comes out and says anything about the situation afterwards. I mean, yeah, he talked in his post-game conference very briefly, but let's talk about what we did this weekend. We were at this game that Tom Izzo was barking at the refs, Michigan State versus Illinois. We attended the game with our buddy Dale and Jake. Shout out those guys for going. Pretty fun game. I mean, I enjoyed it. Obviously, State lost, but
it was my first game ever in the Breslin.
Really?
So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you did tell me that.
Never been in the Breslin, and man, the energy in there is dope. I've been to one Michigan game, one State game. I am a Michigan fan. I wore a Go Blue shirt.
Yeah.
Just an
if
FYI.
anyone wants to know, he did wear a Michigan shirt.
I did wear it said Go Blue, and right in the corner.
State versus Illinois, so interesting choice.
And there was a guy 3 rows down wearing a Michigan jersey. Chris Webber wearing a C.
And
Webb
he was
jersey.
talking too.
Yeah,
like,
and he was like pointing. Everybody was like laughing at him, like,
Yeah.
"Oh, screw you!" And he's like, and everybody was just enjoying it, and nobody ever said anything to me. I didn't flaunt it that much.
no, not really. I mean, like, there was no reason to.
Yeah, but what a great game. I mean, you can talk about it more.
Yeah, it was a good game. I mean, State was down by around the 10-point mark, pretty much the entire game.
Mm-hmm.
Classic State game.
Couldn't get
Just
over the hump.
Played like crap the whole game. Couldn't quite cut it to under 10 consistently. You could, but then they would hit a shot. And then Tyson Walker just decided to become bubble TJ Warren and make every single shot. I don't think he missed in that last 7-minute stretch.
He was like ridiculous. Like I was getting hype.
Yeah.
Because you can't not get hype.
He was
in
the
wrestling.
only reason that we were coming.
Yeah.
And the crowd was not into it before that. Like we would make a shot and it was like,
It was like finally.
it's like, yeah, but they're just going to come down and make one anyways.
They're
But,
gonna one
I mean, we were
post
playing
up.
pretty good defense. Like Kofi, what do you have? 27?
Yeah.
I feel like we did a decent job containing him.
But then you go back and I thought about this. Jamie was talking to me. Shout out Coach Farrell. And he goes, "Did you realize Michigan State played behind Kofi Coburn
Yeah,
the
they
entire
did. They let
game?
him catch the ball, yeah.
You're giving him 27
Yeah.
at that point. Granted, he did hit a lot of tough shots.
Yeah.
He did. And, he probably only had 15 off post
We
touches.
made it tough on him once he got the ball. Yeah, and it didn't help that he made every single free throw, too. I don't think
and
he
putbacks.
he was getting so many free throws, making them all. But yeah, we just were once he got the ball, we made it tough for him. But yeah, we were not denying that entry pass at all, which probably wasn't the greatest idea. But yeah, we end up coming back and cutting it to a 2-point game, 30 seconds left. And then Trent Frazier, who hasn't done shit the whole game, just wanted to
8 points.
put that out there. I mean, yeah, and all those 8 points came at the very end of the game as well.
And he looked rough the entire game.
he was. I mean, he was
Not
obviously
hitting a
he was
shot.
playing good defense like he always does. But yeah, he wasn't making nothing, and he just pulls up from 4 feet behind the line. Probably not the greatest shot, but just
With a
straight,
dude on him.
Yeah, shot clock
ISO
starting to come
one-on-one.
down. Just pulls up from deep and just cans it. And as soon as he made it, none of us even said anything. I was just like,
the whole Breslin
Oh.
did the same thing, just quiet. It was
we
shit.
just lost.
Yep, there was
and
the
then we
game.
come down, chuck up a 3, miss it, and then
We don't even foul.
nothing happened. Yeah, it was just as soon as he made that shot, I was like, oh, it's over. Okay. That was really quick.
Yeah.
That ended fast.
That was the fastest 1 minute ending of
Yeah.
basketball ever. It
Because
was just
usually
over.
after he hits that 3, it's all right, timeout, Michigan
Yeah.
State. We got to draw something up. Or we don't make the shot, we foul, which I don't blame them for not fouling. The game was over, so.
You did everything you could. They were
Yeah.
up by 10, 16 with 8 minutes to go.
Yeah.
I mean, they started pushing away from the 10-point mark to get into blowout territory,
Yeah.
and then you brought it back. All in all, you can't deny it. You can't hate the fight. I mean, at least they fight till the end,
I'm
right?
happy State came back, but at the same time, we have been really, really struggling lately. We've lost, I don't know if it's 3 in a row yet, or no, I think we had the Indiana win.
And you
was in
guys have
between
definitely
there.
lost probably
But-
6 out of the last 10?
Yeah,
6 out of the last
probably.
9?
Right now, on our last, or we're on a 2-game losing streak, yeah. So, but right now in the conference, we are 9-6. We are currently sitting at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the conference. Michigan is only 1 game behind us right now at 8-7. But there's hella teams. Purdue is leading right now. Illinois, Wisconsin tied for 2nd. Ohio State, Rutgers tied for 3rd. So it's going to be tight in these last few games in the Big Ten. MSU's last 5. We play at Iowa tomorrow night, which they just got ranked in the top 25, which is kind of surprising. Then we play Purdue at home this Saturday. Then we're at Michigan, at Ohio State, and then we take on Maryland for senior night. So an easier schedule than Michigan has, but not by a lot. Not just because we have Maryland probably makes it easier.
There is no easy schedule in the Big Ten. Every year, every team in the Big Ten gets their schedule and goes, shit, we've got a tough schedule.
Oh, we have a
this
tough
year.
January. Oh, we have a tough February, too.
Oh, wait, that's all conference
Oh,
play.
yeah. We have a tough conference play. So we'll see how the year ends. MSU, I assume we will still make the tournament. If we lose out and then we lose first round of the Big Ten tournament, I still think we might get in, but I doubt that will happen. I hope we have to go 3-2 in these last 5, and which I think is possible for sure. But
absolutely.
I would like to do better than that.
You'd like and look good in your wins.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
The thing. There's a difference between struggling to get by in a win and winning basketball.
Yeah.
Just dominating.
We need, and that's the thing. We'll have games like that. 2 games ago against Indiana, played a super good game. Malik Hall, great game. Malik Hall scores 0 points in this game, and then in their last game, he scored like 2 points. And
Gabe Brown is on the worst stretch of his career.
Gabe Brown, the first 10 games of the year, was like, okay, he's really stepping up into this best player on the team role. And then he really has just faded since then.
It's like
poorly.
His numbers are like 6, 7, 3, 4,
if
7. Like they're bad.
And like I said, Malik Hall had a pretty good like 5-6 game stretch. It was like, okay, now Malik is like becoming the guy of this team. And then he has last two games where he can struggle to even get good looks. So
and Izzo did make a comment about Malik's injury, saying like he didn't feel right after his first injury of that game.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
because he didn't play that. He only played like 15 minutes. Yeah,
Izzo said like something was wrong. Like Malik wasn't himself out there today because of his injury. He said that after the game.
I think he only even put up like 1 or 2 shots. Like
So
he
didn't look aggressive.
That makes sense that he was hurting because he didn't really play much at all. Do we want to talk about the Pistons at all? I mean, is there anything? We got Marvin Bagley.
And I saw a top 5 most underrated player in the league, Marvin Bagley, post the other day.
Oh yeah, I did.
He was like,
that.
What?
That's right, Marvin Bagley, most underrated. We're adding Jaden Ivey to this team. It's gonna be crazy. All right, Pistons want list in the draft. Rank them. Who do you want in a Pistons jersey? And number 1 being is like saying we have the number 1 pick in the draft. We have this list of guys to choose from. Who are you taking?
I'm probably taking, if we have the number 1 pick in the draft.
Number 1 pick in the draft.
I don't want that pick.
But let's just say, hypothetically, we have number 1 because obviously draft becomes before free agency. So we'll decide on Marvin Bagley. We'll decide on who we sign, obviously. But draft night. You said Jabari is your guy, number 1.
Probably Jabari still, even though there are other guys that I literally want over him, but it just wouldn't be logical as a number 1 overall pick. But the guy, like you said, the want list, Jaden Ivey is at the top of the list. Jaden Ivey and Cade Cunningham would be the most electric backcourt.
See that dunk he had yesterday?
Ridiculous.
That poster dunk?
What was that guy doing trying to block him?
And he just came downhill he was planted 2 feet. It's not like he got a head start. He's standing still with the ball and then just takes off. It was ridiculous.
And what was the guy
him
doing?
And Cade would be nuts.
You are not blocking that.
Oh, no.
You are not taking, even if you take a charge, that is his highlight of his career.
Yeah.
You're in the middle of it.
The only problem is, I think the perfect backcourt member for Cade would be a guy who is a better shooter than him, maybe a better scorer. I don't know. Cade's a pretty good scorer, but Ivey's 3-point numbers have been pretty poor as of lately. So that's the only thing. My want list would probably go. I think Paolo is still my number 1. I want him the most. I think he's more physical. I want Jabari Smith though. He's number 2. I'm taking Jaden Ivey over Chet Holmgren right now though. I think Ivey's number 3 on my list. But I still like Chet Holmgren. Obviously, if we get any of those 4, I will be super duper happy. But
there's a damn good chance we get one of those 4. And if we don't,
if we don't get a top 4 pick, that would suck ass.
Until you realize who we could get at 5. I mean, you talk about a good scoring guard.
Shaden Sharp, Johnny Davis.
Johnny Davis. I just watched Johnny Davis torch Michigan for 28 on layups and post fadeaways. When you were telling me he's getting Devin Booker comparisons,
he is. Yeah,
I totally see it.
And want to know what's funny? I was just about to say I think the perfect Cade backcourt member in the league. If I could take any guy in the whole league, it's Devin Booker. I think
easily
him and Cade And so that's funny that you say Johnny Davis. Yeah.
And that's what I was thinking that the other day. I was
but it would just suck because it was that just means we fell in the lottery. And it's oh, well.
I'd still rather Jaden Ivey over Johnny
for sure.
Davis. But, it is pretty close with those two. The more I think about it, Johnny Davis probably fits better.
And you can run lineups of Johnny Davis at the 3 with another guard.
He's a big dude.
With Killian still out there. Yeah. Johnny Davis is a 6'5", 6'6", big wing, just like Devin Booker. So.
But at the same time, we also need, unless Bagley really works out.
Yeah.
If he is
we need a big if Bagley is that guy?
I don't think people realize he is all of 7 foot. And with a 7'4" wingspan, he is huge.
He's a large guy. And he's big. He will bang too.
Yeah.
He's not some scrawny 7-footer either.
Hyper athletic.
Yeah.
Yams the ball. I'm
excited. That lob Cade had with Bagley in literally their first possession on the floor together. We beat the Celtics to head into the All-Star break, which was dope. And it was a good game from Jeremy Sadiq and Cade. So
I'm really, really high on, not really high, but I have a lot of hope for Bagley. I really think he will turn out to be at least a rotational piece in Detroit.
I seen a TikTok yesterday that was, are the Pistons the next Cavs/Grizzlies? Like,
hell yeah.
Just a young core that's been like bad for several seasons in a row, and then bam, they just, I mean, the Grizzlies not really, I guess, because they were competitive. They were pretty competitive as soon as they got Ja. But like the Cavs, they were bad for like 3-4 years in a row, get a top 3 pick every year, and then bam, now it's time to compete. I still am, I'm considering the thought of do we even have to move Jeremy Grant? Like, do we really have to?
If you get a top 4 pick,
you get a top 4 pick, you sign somebody who can also add to that core. I'm not saying it has to be Miles Bridges, but just like, let's just say a guy, like a young restricted
whoever we
guy.
draft, get the opposite. Oh, we get a wing, go get a big.
Yeah.
We get a big, go get a wing. Go get Bridges.
Exactly. And then, do you have to trade Jeremy Grant? Like, you can if you want, if you don't want to extend him, I guess, but
it depends on how comfortable he is taking a back seat.
Right, and that's like, and looking the way they played the other night, I know it's just one game, but it was really nice to see.
20.
Jeremy Grant really was quiet the whole first half. He only had like 5 points at halftime. It's not like he was missing shots. He just really wasn't taking them. He was kind of letting Cade Sadiq do their thing, and then second half, he was just, it's not like he was just ball hogging scoring every time. Like, he was just getting his
in his rhythm.
Yeah. And then Cade would still go. Like, it was really nice to see. And I don't see why that can't happen on a night-to-night basis.
Yeah, how crazy it would be, like, let's say we go out and get Miles Bridges. No, Sadiq probably still starts, even if we have, like, let's say we have Miles Bridges, no matter what. I don't know.
I know. It'd be tough. I'm saying, like,
who gets
I get
moved
what
to
you're
the
saying.
bench?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Beef Stew definitely is a bench.
Beef Stew definitely has to go to the bench.
But, like, does Bagley start?
Like, depending on who we draft, though.
Yeah.
Like, let's just say we draft one of the bigs. Just hypothetically.
Does Sadiq moved to the bench?
You probably go Cade. No, I don't think you can. I think you run big. I think you go Cade, Sadiq, Jeremy, Bridges, whoever we draft.
Yeah.
/ Marvin Bagley, maybe if you don't want to start them. Yeah, but we don't have like a true center at that point because like Bagley,
he is a center.
He is a center. He's a center. Yeah.
He can't really shoot.
Yeah.
He can shoot a little.
But like he's just like Beef Stew.
Yeah. Just a hustle guy.
Yeah, but like can kind of shoot, but doesn't really shoot.
Yeah. But I would love to see, I can't wait for the Pistons next season. Like, man, are we getting...
I really think next season we can try to compete. And I'm excited to at least commit to that because this last 2 years it's been like, oh, we're losing? Well, that's good.
Yeah.
But now it's like, okay, now I can, when I watch them play, and I still root for them to win every night, but like, I'm not mad that they lose. Now I'm actually going to be like, we gotta win this game. Like,
Jeremy, what the hell are you doing,
exactly.
dude? Quit taking shots. I've got a bad feeling that could be what next season looks like for us.
If
Jeremy,
Jeremy,
what are you doing, dude?
Yeah.
Like, come on, man.
I hope he doesn't turn into the Julius Randle of this fan
Me too.
base.
I just don't want him
one
to
really
be
good
disliked.
year, and then it's like, I don't want him to be disliked either, which I feel like he kind of starting to be.
It's the way he's playing too. It's no fault of anybody else but his own.
Yeah.
And the timeline. The timeline.
But like when you're playing when you're playing with the mindset that you are trying to build your trade value and your money value to get your extension or whatever, he's gonna play like that.
Yeah.
He's gonna play iso ball, try to get his stats and everything, and it just doesn't. It's not as great for the fans of that team.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's get on to this next topic though, because we still have the two lists we talked about 48 minutes ago. That we are going to talk about. Top 7 young cores in the NBA. We did a list similar to this a while ago. Like, I remember when we did this actually once. It had to have been a year and a half ago. We did this though before.
Really?
Yeah. It was like in an off season. I would like. I'm gonna try and find it and see what they are.
So Skunk and I were texting today, and we're like, because lately the reason we haven't been posting episodes, we're trying to do a Jeopardy episode.
Yeah.
And it's just not really working out. A bunch of stuff going wrong, and I'm like, Skunk, we need to record. Like, what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
And he's like, let's do a list. Top 10 young cores, and I sent back. I was like, dude, maybe we do a top 7. There aren't really. I don't really know.
I don't know if we
10.
ever done a top 7. It's always like 5 or 10.
I was like, is there even 10 young cores in the NBA? Yeah, we could have done a top 10.
We for sure could have, yeah.
I've got a top 7. I left some good young cores off.
I've got a top 7. And I've got 4 honorable mention teams. Do we say them? I think we should. I know you don't want to, but
I didn't really do all my honorable mentions, so I don't know who I'd be leaving. I have the big
True.
one. I have the big honorable mention, which is like big.
So should we just say it?
Yeah.
All right. Top 7 young cores in the NBA. Who is your honorable mentions?
The Detroit Pistons did not make my list. They're just not good enough.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, we're probably like a top 5 young core. And then it was like, Oh shit!
No,
a lot of these
no.
teams are young.
I knew that we weren't gonna make my top 7 list. That's kind of why I wanted to do top 10, strictly so I could put the Pistons at 10. Because I was like, I know I'll be able to sneak them in there at 10.
And the thing about it is like, what do we define as young core? At some point, we have to. Because now that I think about it,
It's a pretty generalized thing, though.
There might be another team that I want to toss in here. Might be another team I want to. I'm gonna say the Hornets are an honorable mention as well. I'm gonna bump the Hornets off. Honorable mention.
Damn. Yeah, top. I mean, my definition, I guess, of young cores would be like 25 and under, but
it's so.
But it's like if a guy is just
27.
turned 26, like he could get better.
Yeah.
Like, so I just go off like potential of how good they could be at their peak, pretty much.
Yeah, like the team at their peak.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's kind of how I'm going with. My honorable mentions: Detroit Pistons. San Antonio Spurs, wanted to show them some love. They have a pretty good young core. The Orlando Magic have a nice group of young players. The New Orleans Pelicans is an honorable mention on my list. Zion's hurt. I couldn't count them.
Pelicans are an honorable mention for me.
Yeah, I didn't know if they were going to make it.
That was another
for
team I looked at, and I was just like, nah. Like,
yeah, it's like,
they're just not quite young enough
If Zion's
either.
playing, I mean, Zion and Ingram in themselves is probably good enough to be a top 7 young core. But I don't know. I just couldn't. They don't have Na anymore. They don't have Josh Hart. I mean, they have like Kira Lewis and Trey Murphy, Jackson Hayes, I guess.
Jackson Hayes ain't on that team.
Yeah, well, he is, but
kinda.
He's playing still. I don't know how. I don't.
What?
Yeah, he like never gotten any had to. I don't know how that worked. Maybe it's like a Malik Beasley type thing where it's till the offseason he's got to fix. Remember when that happened?
Yeah, that is the most bullshit.
Like,
the law shouldn't be waiting for professionals.
Bro. That is the law. You did something illegal. You need to get paid.
I don't care how much money you make and how much you entertain people. You should be in jail.
And you're maybe it's different if you're Zion.
Yeah.
You're Jackson Hayes, dude.
Like half the people have forgotten
you have a crazy
still in the league.
poster dunk every few games.
Yeah,
cool.
In a summer league.
Let's get into this list though. Number 7, who you got?
My number 7 is the Minnesota Timberwolves. This team at its peak could be nuts. Just between Anthony Edwards and Cat alone, those are 2 superstar players. Cat might be the 3rd most skilled big man in the league offensively. Anthony Edwards is a freak, a basketball freak. You watch the guy play, and he does things you've never seen before, and he does them casually.
Yeah.
And after the game, they'll ask him how he did it, and he'll say, well, I don't really practice it. I just kind of went out there and did it.
I got to order my chicken nuggets first.
Let me DoorDash, and I'll answer you.
Yeah.
What a normal dude. This young core, and that's like it. That's like their young core. Anthony Edwards, they've got, what's the foreign dude off their bench? Or the foreign wing.
Oh, Leandro Balmaro.
Yeah.
They got McDaniels, too, and Jared Vanderbilt, too. Those would be a couple other guys.
We're still missing a wing.
Young core.
Like David. Oh, my God.
David.
Or maybe he plays for the Celtics now. Maybe this dude
off.
plays for the Celtics now. This dude might have gotten traded.
Juan Hernan Gomez?
No, I don't know who it is.
I don't know
it's
either.
Not clicking. It's really not. He's a defender, can't shoot.
Jared Vanderbilt?
No.
Hey, you're describing him.
No.
I didn't include Minnesota. They were one of those teams that I was like, are they really a young core? Like, Anthony Edwards, to me, is their only young core piece. Cat, I feel like, is more like...
Just because he's like a vet at this point?
He's kind of low-key like in his prime, or like entering at the start of his prime. D'Angelo Russell, obviously, but like he's not
like
going to...
28
As
now,
far when I say like young core, I guess it's like, can they still get like really better?
Yeah.
I don't know if Cat can. That's not saying he's bad, but he's like already really good. So I don't know like if his potential's still there. Minnesota, I guess I should include it as an honorable mention. I thought about them.
This is a tough list.
Having Anthony Edwards, I think, probably deserves at least an honorable mention, though, because he is for sure up there. My number 7 is the Toronto Raptors. Their young core, OG Anunoby, rookie Scotty Barnes, Gary Trent Jr. Those 3 in alone have been having fantastic years. Precious Achiuwa is also on that team, but it's mainly just that big 3 of OG, Scotty, and Gary Trent. Gary Trent's been absolutely balling this year. OG is... Because I was comparing them to the Pistons. I was like, how is this young core better than the Pistons?
Way better.
I mean, Scotty and Cade, as much as I hate to say it, they're probably on the same level right now.
OG and Sadiq.
Then you compare OG and Sadiq, and it's like, bro, you know how awesome it would be to have... I love Sadiq. Having
too.
OG, though, would be so sick.
OG is one of like the coolest young guys in the league.
Yeah, and then
like,
you add
he's
Gary
so cool.
Trent, too.
Yeah.
Like, we have Killian.
Yeah.
So
that's our 3rd.
So
or
I threw the Raptors there at 7, though, yeah.
My number 6 is the Toronto Raptors. For every reason you just said, they're pretty awesome. They're what a great organization they're doing over there. What a great thing.
My number 6 is the Charlotte Hornets. LaMelo Ball in itself obviously is a great piece to a young core, but Miles Bridges, his ability to ball out this year really leaped them into this list if he didn't have the turn up he did. But that's pretty much it for their young core. Like I wrote down, like PJ Washington is still a pretty good player. Their 2 rookies of this year, James Bouknight, Kai Jones, don't really see the floor very often.
Which is weird because I thought both of those guys would get minutes
I know.
right away. I thought James Bouknight would be like an important part of their offense. He doesn't see the floor.
Not really. But I still included them here on my list at number 6. Strictly, I mean, those guys were, Bouknight was a lottery pick. Kai Jones is right out of the lottery. So I assume at some point they will at least get minutes. And we'll see how good they are. So that's kind of why I included them.
Bouknight's just too busy getting tossed out of games, getting ejected from college games.
Yeah, and then go and join the student
Do you know why he was ejected?
No, I don't know. Was he like talking shit or something?
No, he was like on his phone, like or something weird. Like he was like recording and like standing, and like he was like confused
because it was just the one ref. I think that was
he
just
was
like get out of here.
He was super confused about it. He was like, "Why am I being thrown out?" So
I would assume
that's why it wasn't a big deal.
I bet, yeah,
because everybody was just like, "Why? What is going on?"
And like come on, ref!
It's
like
you're about
to kick a former player out of his own gym that he played at, like,
and was amazing.
Yeah, like one of the best players of that college in the last decade.
And you're just gonna be like, "Screw you," as if you don't know who he is.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you should know
Imagine
him.
he didn't know.
You might not, I guess. My number 4.
Number 5.
My number 5. And this is crazy because this team performed really well. They're not performing really well this year. It's the Atlanta Hawks. Their young core is deep and a lot of depth. However, they did just trade away Cam Reddish, who to me was an important part of their young core.
For sure, yeah.
Granted, he didn't like get a ton of run, but he deserved a ton of run, at least an opportunity. But then you go down the list, you have John, whatever his name is.
Collins.
John Collins. Just slipped my head.
John.
Trae Young, Kevin Huerter, DeAndre Hunter. Clint Capella's old. He's like 28, probably. He's not
maybe.
old yet, but he's still.
Onyeka Okongwu went 6th overall last year.
This team is deep with a lot of young talent, and they performed super well in the playoffs last year. This season, they've really struggled.
Yeah, but it's
they're like 32 and 33, which is in the mix with every other team in the East.
And I'm not even mad about it because I remember at the very beginning of the year, I said, don't expect the Atlanta Hawks to come out and be this 1 seed Eastern Conference Finals again. Like, they overperformed last year. They're still a very young team. They don't need to, like, they are very young still.
Not in win now mode.
Obviously, they're on this list. They made the Eastern Conference Finals last year, and they're top 5 in young cores in the NBA. Like, they're in no rush. So, Atlanta's also on my list. I feel like when we did this list last year, I think I might have had him as a number 1, honestly. I think I might have because...
Well, at that point,
they had Cam Reddish.
He was asking for a max contract as a young core guy.
And he got his max. But my number 5 is the Boston Celtics. Just the straight duo of Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, obviously is enough. They are easily the best duo on this list as far as young cores go. Just looking at it, this is easily the best duo. Obviously, they have Rob Williams, too, who's probably like the 3rd best young piece. They got Aaron Nesmith, Peyton Pritchard, but those guys aren't really that important. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown is their young core. I did originally have them higher, and then I decided to move them down, but Celtics, number 5.
Interestingly enough, not on my team.
Really?
Just because of those 2 guys, like the only. I guess Rob Williams is in there.
Yeah.
And I probably should have considered them. But like I just didn't really toss them on. Because to me, they're not young anymore. They've had like
I get that. Yeah, that's kind of how I felt about like Cat.
Yeah, so. They've had 6 deep playoff runs.
Isn't that crazy?
Like 2.
They've made 2 Eastern Conference Finals already
with the young core.
As those 2 as like their best guys.
Yeah, so I guess I definitely should have considered them. I'm gonna get flamed on. Actually, nobody likes the Celtics. I will not get flamed on TikTok.
True. Yeah, they'll probably flame me for it.
Yeah.
Number 4.
My number 4, the Cleveland Cavaliers. This team is ridiculous. Their young core is nuts. Jarrett Allen, Evan Mobley, Darius Garland, Colin Sexton, who they're probably going to trade, Isaac Okoro, who's been good in his career, Lauri Markkanen, who's still just there, and he has potential still. He's still 7'1" sharpshooter. This team is legit. They're performing at an extremely high level right now. I had to give a huge nod to these guys.
I feel like I don't have a team that's in your top 3. That was your number 4? The Cavs were?
You might not. One of my teams is a borderline young core.
Okay.
Both two of my teams are a borderline young core.
That just interests me. I'm excited to see the rest of your list.
The top heavy part of the list is like all the borderline young core teams.
Right.
It's like, are they really young still? I don't know. You'll see. You can debate it.
My number 4 is the Atlanta Hawks. Like I said, you said pretty much they're very deep. Trae Young, John Collins, DeAndre Hunter, Kevin Huerter, Okongwu. They have Jalen Johnson, who they drafted this year. They have Sharif Cooper, who's dating Ash Cash. And I got the Atlanta Hawks at number 4.
Damn. Ash Cash, I'd heard her name. I didn't know what that was about.
You know she's dating him?
Dating who?
Sharif Cooper.
Oh my God, I thought you said Kevin Huerter. I was like, no
Dude,
way.
that would be awesome. that would be giving us some hope. Top 3.
Oh man, I'm sitting here staring at my top 3, wondering if I should reorganize it.
No, you just got to send it.
My number 3 is the Memphis Grizzlies. No doubt, the youngest of my top 3 young cores. No doubt. They're not as good. Ja Morant, Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson Jr.
I'm so interested to see what your last 2 are. Obviously, I know what one of them is, but anyways, continue.
This team is nuts. I am so excited to see what direction this team goes in the future because I really hope that it just keeps going up. Ja Morant, to me, has already cemented himself as a Memphis lifer. Like, I cannot picture him ever being in another jersey or even being upset with the organization.
Yeah, for real.
Because of how well they've done with him. They literally just keep feeding him good players that they draft. Hey, here's another good player. You want a good player? We picked up Desmond Bane. Who knew who that guy was 2 years ago?
Now he's a star.
3-point contest.
Yeah.
One of the best 3-and-D players.
Sophomore in the whole league.
He is ridiculous. The Memphis Grizzlies are an awesome young core and electric, and I hope they're so good for so many years to come because they're in the West, and I don't really care.
I really struggled with my 2 and 3. I sat here for a while making my list, debating who I wanted to put at 2, who I wanted to put at 3. But number 3 is the Cleveland Cavaliers. Like you said, this team has just really put it together this year. Their young core I'm so jealous of this team's young core. Darius Garland, first-time All-Star this year. Jarrett Allen, first-time All-Star. Probably the Rookie of the Year, Evan Mobley. I hate to say it, but they have a guy named Colin Sexton who has not played since the first week of the year that everyone has kind of forgotten about. Mm-hmm. I mean, this Colin Sexton was the best player on this team the last 2 years.
Averages 20 a game, like it's nothing.
Exactly. Isaac Okoro, who's been pretty well for them this year. Lauri Markkanen is only 23 years old still. So the Cavs, number 3, this team is, just because of how good they are right now, too, have to put them top 3.
Yeah, they've built their team the exact way a team should be built. We're going to be humongous, and we're going to have elite guard talent.
Yeah.
Like extremely talented offensive guards, and then just elite big men.
Yeah.
Defensive and offensive monsters.
And then get Kevin Love.
Yeah.
And you're set.
The perfect vet who wanted to be out of your city 2 years ago.
And now let's just change his mind and make him want to stay and love it.
Because we are awesome. That's Cleveland.
Yeah.
Not really.
Number 2.
My number 2, this is on the fly, mixing it up. My number 2 is the Denver Nuggets. Okay? Bones Highland, Michael Porter Jr., Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic. That young core has an MVP.
Yeah.
That's the difference. And I guess maybe you can consider Giannis young if I'm considering Jokic young. I mean, Jokic is 26. He's only 26. So I'm going to consider him young. You know, he's right on the borderline of 25 and under. Bones Highland is a monster. Looks like he might be one of the steals of the draft. MPJ has had stretches of being really good.
Yeah.
That is
he just had a poor start. I mean, he's been good other than this year.
And I bet you he's been battling injury this whole year.
Oh, yeah.
I bet his back has been killing him.
But he's coming back, though. Him and Jamal Murray are coming back this month, or either late February or early March. So.
And we've seen what Jamal Murray can do
in the playoff. I mean, dude, we ain't seen Jamal Murray in almost a year.
I am hyped 50, like 4 times in a series.
I hope he can come back and still be really good.
There was a series where he was better than Jokic. The entire series was better than the MVP of the league.
You watch the Nuggets to watch Jamal Murray.
that season
Jokic.
You did.
Yeah.
That's how good this young core is. I don't know. Did you not consider them young?
I did not consider them as a young core, but I respect it though.
Yeah.
Like I definitely thought about it. Like I was like, do I want to count it? I didn't. But that makes sense. Yeah. If I did have to include the Nuggets, they would be my number 2. Definitely. My number 2 though is the Memphis Grizzlies. I put them over the Cleveland Cavaliers. kind of because they have the super duper star. Because you compare big threes like the Cavs. Obviously, you can't really compare them like position wise, but the Cavs' big three is Garland, Allen, Mobley. The Grizzlies is Ja, Jaren, Desmond Bane.
Ja's better than Garland.
Ja is like the only like super duper star of that whole group. Jaren Jackson Jr., Jared Allen, pretty similar. Like Jaren Jackson Jr. is having a DPOY type season. Obviously, he wasn't an all-star like Jared Allen, and then Desmond Bane has just been fantastic as a sophomore in this league. They also have Xavier Tillman, who's been a really good bench piece for them. DeAnthony Melton, who people forget, he's only like 22 or 23 years old.
Forgot about Xavier.
Yeah.
I really did.
And Zaire Williams, who they took at 10th overall, has been pretty solid for them actually lately, which is cool to see because he was viewed as a project player and he's contributing to winning basketball already. So
how does a dude go from like top 5 most skilled player in high school basketball to a project?
Yeah,
from 1 year
because he was so bad in college,
isn't
like
that
really,
amazing?
really bad.
Isn't that just incredible?
Like Josh Christopher was bad, but Zaire was worse.
But he just was way more hyped up going into that year.
Yeah. Number one.
My number one is the Phoenix Suns, making it to a finals. Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, Mikal Bridges. How much longer is the young core together? I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good question.
They're saying DeAndre Ayton might get the bag from Portland this year. I guarantee DeAndre Ayton would go and love to go play with Damian Lillard, who was recently named to the NBA All-75 or team or whatever you want to call it. One of NBA's 75 greatest.
That was super cool, by the way. That whole
super cool, super
awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
AI was dope in it. You see, Ray Allen didn't dap up KG.
Yeah,
or
but
Paul
I see
Pierce.
they got a pick after the game.
Oh,
though.
did they?
Yeah, I saw that. That was
Like, he just
I was
dapped
like,
up
whoa,
Braun.
that's weird. But then I seen the picture of them. I was like, okay, that makes more sense.
They might have been doing it as like a big joke, anyways.
Because it looked like KG was
like
it looked like
making
he
a
had like
face.
that smirk
He was like,
on him. Yeah, exactly.
Like, come on, Ray.
That was super
Quit
cool though.
messing
Like
with
it
us.
seemed like all the players really enjoyed that, which is cool.
And like Shaq's speech before the game, talking
Yeah.
about how much it meant to him just to be around the likes of Hakeem, Kareem.
Imagine being around like just all of those guys. Like MJ, I don't know why, but I didn't expect MJ to like enjoy it. I just expected him to kind of just be there. He was like having hella fun. I mean,
it was. I think he was hammered.
I would assume a lot of them were, but
I think he was like, he came from the Daytona 500.
saw that, yeah.
Like, did you see the bottle of alcohol he had in his hand as he pulled up? So I assume he was like extremely hammered. But the jokes that we saw MJ challenging Magic to a game of one-on-one was awesome. Okay, wait, we got to get back on topic.
Yeah. My number one is also the Phoenix Suns. They made it to the NBA Finals. No other young core did. Booker, he's 25, but the dude has been in the league for like 18 years. But he still is young.
We got to mention that Chris Paul is a huge part of this team.
Yeah, obviously. Like Chris Paul is a huge part of this team. They aren't going to make the finals without Chris Paul. But Booker, Ayton, and Mikal Bridges have been a part of a deep playoff run. Yeah, the Celtics have. Yeah, the Hawks have. But it's not the same as the Phoenix Suns being up 2-0 in the NBA Finals. And I can, as much as I would love to see DeAndre Ayton in a Detroit Pistons jersey next year, I can almost guarantee you that the Suns will give him his max contract. I mean, it would be ridiculous of them if they didn't.
He is like, he's going to be a top 5 big man in the NBA at some point in his career.
Probably,
will be a top 5 big
And he's
man.
a great defensive player. He's a physical beast. Yeah.
Lob threat for D-Book.
Exactly.
When he finally,
great
Chris Paul's
piece
gone.
for that team. It's just that would be ruining your future. Who else are you going to sign with that money if you don't extend him anyways? So you're going to have to pay Mikal. 2, you might as well bring back the whole crew. Mm-hmm. They are the number one core in the NBA.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go back to that. We didn't really talk about the NBA 75.
Yeah,
there was a lot to talk about.
I wanted to talk about it, yeah.
So the whole MJ and Magic, the one-on-one joke, was just hilarious. The whole, you put them shoes on, we'll go run one-on-one right now. Like, that is awesome.
I know.
I saw a bunch of tweets saying, like, MJ wouldn't have been like this. And not to get into, like, sad or emotional stuff, like, if Kobe was around. And I just think that's complete horseshit.
Yeah.
Like, you were just creating
MJ just
storylines.
likes having fun, bro. Like, he clearly is just a guy that likes having fun. That is something that is fun to do.
Yeah. And you're around you are right there. Everybody thinks you're either, of those 75 players, everybody thinks you are 1 or 2 all time.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got to enjoy it. Every player there is like starstruck.
Knowing and in Jordan's eyes, you are in the realm of the 75 greatest players to ever play the game that you did, and you are better than all of them. In Jordan's eyes. Like,
yeah.
that would be awesome to go to.
Yeah.
I'm better than all these dudes, and they're the greatest.
Yeah.
What does that make me?
Exactly.
The greatest.
That was awesome. And the way they all interacted was just awesome. I mean, there are certain guys who just literally probably have never met most of these guys in the NBA right now. And they just got to meet all their heroes.
You see what Giannis said about Dirk? He was just like, yeah, it was super cool seeing like MJ and everybody, but seeing all the foreign greats was super cool. Like, and he was talking about Dirk and Hakeem Olajuwon, and
one of 2 European players in the NBA 75, Dirk and Giannis, only 2 Europeans, which is just incredible to think about.
Yeah.
Shout out Dirk and Giannis. What a cool 2 guys to represent all of Europe.
For sure, yeah.
Like you
2 of the most likable players ever too.
Nobody dislikes Dirk.
I feel bad that Kevin Durant couldn't be there. Passing of his grandmother, he was not able to make that, because I would have assumed he would have loved to see all those guys.
Bird wasn't there.
Yeah, Larry Bird wasn't there. There was a good amount of guys that weren't there, and obviously some people have passed away. But
only a few, really, right?
Yeah, not a crazy amount. I think there was probably like 5 to 10 guys that probably have. But did you see the picture of all the Lakers too, with the missing the spot in the middle? That was so sad.
So
dude.
sad,
God, that
bro.
was just like,
because Kobe would have loved that.
He would have absolutely loved that. It's like when I saw that video of just all the Lakers together, it's just like that. When I see stuff like that, that's stuff that makes me realize that those are real guys.
Yeah,
like those are people. They're not like this some higher being because they're basketball players. Like, no, that's a bunch of old dudes that are retired, hanging out with younger guys. Like, I love hanging out with old guys.
Yeah, me too. Like, I will go and sit down and have a burger with my dad every time he offers it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it is awesome eating with old people.
And yeah, obviously it's a little bit different. They're great at basketball. That's what they all share in common. But when I see stuff like that, that's just when I'm like, wow, they're just like regular guys.
They're just cool. Normal people. And like, that takes me back to the LeBron having fun at the Rams Super Bowl, and people were like, how is he having fun when
his team sucks? Yeah.
This dude does not give a shit.
Yeah. He is currently watching the Super Bowl, bro. Like,
from a VIP suite, the most expensive suite.
Like, do you just want him to eat, sleep, and breathe? Like,
winning?
I need to fix the Lakers now. We need to make trades. Like, dude, let him live his life. He's a human.
He's going to have fun whenever.
Exactly.
He's not going to stop
having
fun.
It's the Super Bowl, bro. Like, let him have fun.
And I get it. And certain guys like Kobe and MJ have really like changed how some people see hoopers and how they should be. You know, because if LeBron had that, Mamba mentality, I'm going to call it. LeBron doesn't have that Mamba mentality the way Kobe did. They just have different mentalities about the way they live life. And Kobe had fun too. MJ has fun.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just at some point you got to take a step back, and it makes them so much more human and more enjoyable to watch.
Yeah.
When they're missing shots, like, I miss shots.
Yeah,
I have bad games.
I'm not going to make every single play.
Yeah. So I get it. I loved the NBA 75. It was so cool.
Yeah, it was way cooler than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it was definitely long.
I enjoyed it. Yeah, it was really long, but and obviously you're going to introduce every single player. But
part of me also wanted it at the end of the game, but at the same time, like, Dr. J's probably asleep at the end of the game. That dude's got to be tired.
Yeah, East Coast too. This is the latest as it goes.
Yeah, they got to be tired.
Yeah. Let's move on. This is going to be a long episode. I guess we didn't really warn the viewers at the beginning, but this is long. If you are currently listening to this episode, give yourself a round of applause. Oh, I was going to press the applause, but I think it's on the other board.
It's definitely not that one.
What is that?
That was the Jeopardy.
Hopefully you'll hear that soon when we get our next Jeopardy episode. But let's get into the final topic of today's episode. We'll try to get this in under an hour and a half. Top 10 running backs in the NFL. I am so excited to do this. I'm so excited to do them all. But I think this is like the easiest one. I think this is easier than wide receivers and quarterbacks. You don't think so?
It is easier. It is probably easier than wide receivers, but it is hard.
No, it's still hard. Yes, for sure. But like, I kind of knew going into it. I'm like, all right, I know my top 5 already, like pretty easily. And no, there's one spot that I was like, How many honorable mentions you got? You got any?
I don't write down my honorable mentions. I got to start doing that.
I like doing it just because I feel like certain guys need to be shown some love. Like, I thought about you for this.
Honorable mention, James Conner, DeAndre Swift is an honorable mention. That's probably it. That's probably the only guys I need to honorably mention.
I pretty much will only throw honorable mentions to guys that either used to be on this list, like a couple of these guys definitely were top 10 last year, or guys that I just really like that it would be biased of me to put them in, so I just want to talk about them. Aaron Jones is an honorable mention for me. Saquon Barkley is an honorable mention for me. David Montgomery, I just threw him in there just because. And then the GOAT, Cordero Patterson. Had to give him some love because low-key I was thinking about putting him at 10, but it would just be wrong.
Dude, and the thing is, it is so hard for me to judge running backs because other than watching football for fantasy, I'm never watching how skilled a running back is. Like, I just see how many touchdowns they score, basically, which isn't how good a running back is. No. Touchdowns don't tell the whole story. You look at a guy like Christian McCaffrey, who literally doesn't score touchdowns.
Yeah.
Does that negatively affect him or positively affect him?
Had 2 TDs in 7 games this year.
Yeah. So, like, I don't know how that makes him go up on this list or move on this list. Does that negatively affect him? Is that a good thing? I don't know. I'm really pumped about this. My number 10 is Joe Mixon, my most hated player in the NFL.
Surprised you had him top 10, honestly.
And that's just it.
He deserves it, though.
He deserves it. He is a freak. People don't realize how big Joe Mixon is. The guy is Antonio Gibson, Derrick Henry sized. He is huge.
Maybe not quite Derrick Henry sized.
Antonio Gibson's the same size as Derrick Henry.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but Henry just looks huge.
Yeah. He's like same weight, same height.
Yeah.
Like,
really?
Yeah, he's huge. Antonio Gibson's monster.
They don't quite have the definition that Derrick Henry has.
Derrick Henry
though.
and his hair makes him look like
that is true.
menace. But Joe Mixon, number 10, made it to a Super Bowl this year. Shout out Joe Mixon.
My number 10 is a guy that's been slowly sliding on this list for the last several years. Number 10, Zeke Elliott. Had to throw Ezekiel Elliott in my top 10. I was thinking about...
Didn't make my list.
See, I was thinking about not putting him on my top 10. But, I mean, he still had a pretty respectable year this past year. He still rushed for 1,000 yards. His fumbling, only had 1 fumble all year. Last year, that was the big thing. He had like 6 or 7 last year. Only 1 fumble this year. And he's sharing a backfield with Tony Pollard, who's one of the more up-and-coming younger running backs in this league. And he still had a 1,000-yard season. The Cowboys were a really good offense all year. I decided to throw him at number 10 still. I'm not a big Zeke Elliott fan, though.
I hate him.
I think it would be cool if he got traded. I think it would be cool for him and for the Cowboys. I would like to see Zeke on another team, see if he could still do really good, but who knows? My
number 9 is Saquon. Injuries have basically ruined his career at this point. I hope he makes a return to being a really good player. And he had some good games this year when he was fully healthy. He was fully healthy for 3 games, 4 games.
I couldn't include him,
So that's where it gets difficult with this list. Is a lot of these backs were kind of hurt on and off all year. A lot of these backs actually at some point in the year were hurt. Dalvin, Kamara, C-Mac, Nick Chubb, all injured at some point this year. That makes this list way harder.
Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry. Well, we all know where he is. There's not much question. Number 9, Saquon Barkley.
My number 9 is Joe Mixon. I had him originally higher, and then I realized I was missing a guy, so I had to move him down. Joe Mixon, though, definitely deserves it. He silenced all the haters that were not thinking about not taking him in fantasy the last 3 or 4 years.
It's me.
I traded for him in my Dynasty League and then traded him about a week later to get McCaffrey.
It's an awful... Oh, wait, no, it's a good move.
Yeah, but I got McCaffrey and then he was out for the year after it. And then I traded McCaffrey already, so I'll never really get to use him. But yeah, Joe Mixon at number 9.
My number 8 is a guy that might be way higher on your list, but I think offense situationally that you're in really affects where I put you on this list. That's Najee Harris. When your quarterback can't throw the ball 15 yards downfield, you're going to get a lot of catches. You're just going to.
Yeah.
You're going to get a lot of touches because your quarterback can't throw the ball downfield. Najee Harris was stellar this year. He was so good, especially when teams knew he was getting the ball 50% of the time on each down.
Yeah.
He was still very, very good. Shout out Najee Harris. That's right. Shout out a Steelers player. That wasn't freaking...
Shout out Willie.
Like Juju.
My number 8 is also Najee Harris, actually. Najee Harris coming in as a rookie. You don't have a lot of rookies come in and be top 10 running backs in the NFL. But he was just way too good to not be top 10. I originally didn't have him on my list. He was who I forgot. And then I was like, oh, I have to have Najee on here. Yeah, Najee was crazy good this year. Had over 1,500 total yards, 16 touchdowns. Or I'm looking at the wrong guy. Almost 1,700 total yards, only 10 touchdowns, though. But, yeah, he was really good. Like you said, he's going to get a lot of catches from Big Ben. It's going to be interesting to see how many receiving touches he gets with a different quarterback next year. But he still rushed for 1,200 yards. And he had 0 fumbles out of all year, or out of anyone. The only other guy on my top 10 list that had 0 fumbles this year was Alvin Kamara, who missed a few games. So, Najee, number 8.
My number 7 is a guy who is actually one of my favorite backs in the league, a dual threat machine and a red zone threat, and that's Austin Eckler.
I knew it was going to be, yeah.
I love Austin Eckler. You can't. He's like one of those guys that every year, if I could have him in fantasy, I would. And he doesn't even need to be that good. I just like him.
Yeah.
Shout out Austin Eckler. Dual threat is an absolute monster.
He might be one of the best, if not the best, red zone threats, running back wise, in the entire NFL.
He just gets so many touches.
Him and Jonathan Taylor, 20 touchdowns was most out of for running backs. Eckler's also my number 7, actually. Definitely had a crazy good year. Him and another guy that's a similar player to him. I was struggling to who I wanted to take. But I went with Austin Eckler. He does fumble the ball a little more than usual. He's got 4 fumbles on the year. That's the most out of any guy on this list. But he's still a great, like you said, his dual threat ability is fantastic. It would be crazy if he could get over that 1,000 rushing yard total, and then still, because he had 911 rushing yards and almost had 1,600 total yards. So, I mean, if he could get to a 800 receiving yards, 1,000 rushing, that would be unreal.
He would be so good.
Yeah.
However, his offense is so diverse.
Oh, yeah.
So many weapons. I don't see him doing that anytime soon. Not with Justin Herbert. No.
Mike Williams, though, is free agent, so never know.
Yeah, that'd be cool if they didn't resign him.
But they need to get another guy, I feel like.
Yeah, but no, I don't like Mike Williams. I just don't. Number 6. This is a guy that I expected to be higher on this list. I can see he's top 10. He's top 6. Alvin Kamara. Since Christmas Day 2 years ago, he has not been that great. He really hasn't.
Was it Christmas Day or Christmas Eve? I think it was Christmas Eve.
Day.
Was it?
I don't know, but
I don't remember.
I asked one of my players.
Doesn't matter.
I asked one of my players tonight, give me your top 5, and he made that joke to me, and I was like, that is fact. He really hasn't done much since then.
That's so weird because a kid in my class today asked me who my top 5 running backs were.
What?
Yeah.
That is weird.
And it was before we even talked about podcasting. He just straight up asked me. I was like,
does he know you have a podcast?
No, it was in my sports class.
Oh,
so
yeah.
We were already talking about because we have to do a question every single day and answer it. And the question today was, who's the greatest player to never win a championship? Just in general, no sports. I went with Barry Sanders.
Yeah, it's probably Barry is undoubtedly
the dude I went with AP. But I thought that was cool just because no one. But I try to pick a guy that no one else is gonna say, and no one else said AP, so I respect.
Did other guys say Barry?
Yeah, a couple other people said Barry.
Barry is.
I had to say Barry.
Someone
said Calvin too.
But Barry is literally the best running.
But I was gonna say AI. I was I don't want to just be basic. Hella people said AI.
Yeah, and there's a couple other guys Gary Payton. He's not AI.
He won a championship.
Did he?
With the Miami Heat? Yeah, with D Wade, Miami Heat.
Oh yeah, he did. Oh yeah, he did.
Anyways. Number
6
what was that?
Kamara.
Was that 6?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got Kamara at 6 too.
This is odd.
We've been this is weird. We literally talking about
at all.
This is damn near been the same exact list. Yeah, I was struggling with Kamara and Eckler, who to take over. Obviously Eckler had the better year last year, but Kamara was really, really good 2 years ago, and he kind of struggled with injury this year. The whole, New Orleans Saints
suck.
They had a really weird year. As soon as Jameis Winston went out, it was oh, now Eckler's going to do better, and then he didn't. And he, like I said, he was struggling with injury all year. Taysom Hill is a guy who he can't really play with. So hopefully Kamara they get a pretty good quarterback and he can ball out again next year, but he's number 6.
My number 5 is a guy that I didn't expect to be this high on the list. But I was going through it and I was like, this dude is legit. This guy shares touches with another back. This is Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb is unreal for a guy who shares touches with Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt took all of his touchdowns this year. Nick Chubb would get them all the way inside the 10. Kareem Hunt's coming in to get the touchdown. If Nick Chubb gets his touchdowns, he is a monster. If he doesn't split carries, monster. I think he had the most rushes this year, over 30 yards. Correct me if I don't know if that's right or wrong.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that's the stat.
It might have been, yeah.
Most rushes over 30 yards. He is a monster. Shout out Nick Chubb, my number 5.
My number 5 is also Nick Chubb.
We're going to have the exact same list.
I think we are going to have the exact. Now
that we're here.
Because my 5 and 4 was the hardest one. Between 5 and 4, that was so hard. I think those two players are so interchangeable. I'm going to take over. I'm going to take the lead because I feel like I'm just copying you. So I wanted to kind of switch it up.
Bitch.
My number 4 is Dalvin Cook. I think between Dalvin Cook and Nick Chubb, it's so difficult to who's better. I really feel like you could give it to Chubb because of the split carries thing, but I mean, Hunt is he'll come in on 3rd and 2 and on the goal line, but a lot of his action is in the passing game nowadays, which it really wasn't like that in Kansas City, but that's just how they use him now. He's a free agent too, I think. I'm pretty sure he is. So that would be cool if he got another starting job somewhere else. But I got Dalvin Cook at number 4. Great running back. Had a crazy good year 2 years ago. And this past year, he only played in 13 games, and he still had a really good season.
Still struggled with injury. I mean, there was like 4 of those games he played where he was hurt.
Yeah. But he is an absolute workhorse. He is like, there's not many guys in the league nowadays like Dalvin Cook where he is going to get every single carry in the game. Alexander Madison, he might be the best backup in the league, but if Dalvin Cook's playing, expect one carry out of Madison. Yeah. Like, it is going to be 25 to 30 carries for Dalvin Cook every game, and that's kind of why I put him over Nick Chubb, strictly because of that reason.
Yeah, absolutely. And Madison might be as good as Kareem Hunt. No joke. Madison, I will stand by that. If Madison was the lone running back on the Eagles, he'd be a monster.
I love how it's just the Eagles.
My number 3.
No, you got your number 4.
Oh, my number 4 is Dalvin Cook.
Let's go. See, doesn't it suck?
It blows. Yeah, because now you get to do your number 3.
I know, that's what I'm saying. My number 3 is the reigning. Oh, no, he's not. I was going to say the reigning offensive player of the year, but Cooper Kupp took it from him. My number 3 is Jonathan Taylor of the Indianapolis Colts. Had a crazy good season this year, over 1,800 rushing yards, 20 total touchdowns. He had over 2,100 total yards on the year. Absolutely. He had so many carries. Like, he had way more carries than anyone else. Played in every game. I had him in fantasy, so that really helps as well. In Dynasty League, too. But Jonathan Taylor, number 3. I was thinking about putting him at number 2, but I didn't.
My number 3 is also not Jonathan Taylor. It's Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey, 2 years ago.
Hold up. How can it be also not Jonathan Taylor?
I don't know. Yeah, you're right. That doesn't make any sense.
Anyways.
That didn't make any words. Number 3 is Christian McCaffrey.
You didn't need to redo it. That's not what I was implying. Anyways, just talk about him.
The thing with him is just like, is he ever going to be healthy again? The dude is the hardest worker. Like, his workouts are crazy. They're like Kamara level nuts, the things he does. Kamara's got crazy workouts as well. Christian McCaffrey, I just want to see one full season of him being healthy again. Because the last 2 years, when he plays, he is the best back in fantasy, and he is the second best back in the league right now, just because of how good Derrick Henry's been. But Christian McCaffrey, man, his injuries make it really hard for me to put him above Jonathan Taylor,
which I understand,
and that's just where
availability is the best ability.
Absolutely. So Christian McCaffrey is number 3.
My number 2 is Christian McCaffrey, but I do want to ask you if Christian McCaffrey doesn't have this injury stigma. Like, last 2 years, pretty much played the whole year. You got him over Derrick Henry or no? Because I think before these last 2 years, he was the undisputed number 1 best running back.
The thing about Derrick Henry, and this year especially, is like he was going to break every record ever of running backs. Like, he was on pace to just blow out every record.
He broke hella records last year.
So I do think I still take Derrick Henry over C-Mac. Like, Christian McCaffrey, if I'm taking a fantasy back, I'm taking Christian McCaffrey over Derrick Henry probably. Christian McCaffrey, just literally the whole offense, the whole Panthers offense, and that's part of the also, like, Jonathan Taylor's the same way. The whole offense is Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
He gets the ball 60% of plays or something ridiculous like that when he plays. 2 touchdowns in 7 games, averages like 23 fantasy points a game.
Yeah.
With very few touchdowns. If he gets a touchdown, he probably had a 30-point game. That is crazy. Christian McCaffrey would probably still be number 2.
Probably
take Derrick Henry. Like, on my team, if I was making a team, I'm taking Derrick Henry over him.
Yeah, McCaffrey in only 7 games played this year had 785 total yards, and you got to remember that last game he played in was like first quarter got hurt in, like it was early in the game when he got hurt. So he dominated it, and then he came back and played like 2 or 3 more games, but he was playing hurt. Obviously, he re-injured himself afterwards. So like, those numbers he puts up in those games aren't even what he's fully capable of doing, and they're still like really good numbers for the limited amount of games he played in.
Chuba Hubbard got a couple touchdowns in those games. So like, that just takes away right there. Those are minus stats because he was in the game.
Number 2 for you.
My number 2, Jonathan Taylor. The dude is an absolute freak. What a monster. He is so good at scoring touchdowns. That's just it.
Yeah, he is. Number 1 is the king, Derrick Henry. No doubt in my mind, he is the best running back in the league. Whether, obviously, he missed a large chunk of this past season. The dude played in 8 games this season, and literally almost ran for 1,000 yards. 8 games, had 937 yards, had 1,100 total yards on the year, 10 touchdowns in 8 games. Like, he would have had a monster. Jonathan Taylor would have been an afterthought if Derrick Henry doesn't get hurt. And Taylor had this crazy season. But
Cooper Kupp would have been an afterthought if Derrick Henry doesn't get hurt. Like, Derrick Henry was on pace to score.
Back-to-back Opoys he could have been, too.
Yeah,
which
21 touchdowns, 22 touchdowns.
Yeah. With the extra game, too. Yeah.
That's unreal.
And ridiculous.
My number 1 is the king, Derrick Henry.
Want to know what's weird, too? This is actually kind of weird. He had 9 less carries than Nick Chubb this year.
Derrick Henry?
Yeah. 9 less carries.
Yeah, that's wild.
Nick Chubb played in 14 games, 228 carries. Derrick Henry played in 8 games, 219 carries. I mean, he is getting the ball 30 times, 35 times every game.
Dude, I want Derrick Henry so badly in fantasy next year. I want the number 1 overall pick.
I had him in fantasy last year in my family league. It sucked, and then he got hurt. I mean, it didn't suck at first until he got
won
hurt,
8 straight, and then you had to lose. Shout out Derrick Henry. Shout out everybody who listened all the way to the hour 30 mark right now.
Yeah, we're bringing it back. If you are listening right now, comment. Who is the best running back in the NFL? Is it Derrick Henry? Is it Christian McCaffrey? Is it Cordero Patterson? I don't really know. Comment. Is it Jamal Williams?
Is it that guy with the cool, who used to have the cool mustache?
Oh,
played for the Bengals?
Gio Bernard.
Gio Bernard. He could
comment Gio Bernard. Something about
his
Gio Bernard's mustache on
like
anything.
The coolest thing ever.
Yeah, comment something about that. And we will try to remember to shout you out.
We
will know that you shouted us out. So that's good enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, thanks.
We love you.
Bye.
Peace.